What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central. And usually I'm here, I'm giving analysis, I'm giving my thoughts on the team. We're being very level-headed. Well, unfortunately, we got some comments from an idiot to talk about today. Luis Riddick decided to open his dumbass mouth and say some things about our Chicago Bears. So while I am here to give some analysis and talk about the team, today I'm also going to cyberbully. Let's get into it.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
All right, Bears fans. So I know usually on the open I talk about what we're going to talk about. We're going to get into some things with Bears players, but this idiot Luis Riddick, the same person who picked the Bears to win the Super Bowl in 2018, the same dumbass who sits there with his rhetoric when it comes to his quote-unquote friends he wants to kiss up to, but then wants to come down because of a comment that he didn't take in fucking context. And that's what makes it so stupid, right? Is the fact that not only, yes, critique the team all you want. We've done it here. We said that we didn't think the Bears would win probably over 9 games this season, right? We had that critique here. That is fine to honestly critique a team. But then when you take a snippet of you remember on the last episode that I did with Bobby, how I talked about the headline of Justin Fields saying the team is not ready to play offense right now, how I read that, but you got to read the whole entire article, right? To get a really sense of what he was trying to say. This is why you do things like this, because this idiot Luis Riddick, who clearly didn't read the whole thing and just took the headline to say some dumbass thoughts. Let's go ahead and play it, and then I'm going to get into it.
Look, I mean, I get what you're saying, that no one's ready to play a football game right now because your mindset's not really geared towards that. But I'm going to go a little deeper on this. Look, I think there's a huge learning curve for him. He's learning a whole new offense again. All right, and this to me sounds like someone who's saying, "Hey, look, I have a lot of things I'm trying to really right now download into my brain so I can play a little bit faster and play with more confidence this year and make that huge second-year leap. And I'm not ready right now. Come September, of course he's going to say, yeah, I'll be ready then. Well, we'll see. We'll see how ready they are. And I don't think this is just about Justin. Look, I know he's not really talking about this, but this football team around him, you tell me how they got better offensively to the point where he will then be able to just let his athletic ability shine. I don't see it, man. I don't see it, and I hate that for him. I hate it for him, but I think this is going to be, as you said, Dan, this could be an ugly year for Chicago. I just really think it could be.
Well, we'll see if Justin Fields has what it takes to overcome the adversity in front of him.
All right, listen here. Listen, I know you guys here in Chicago Bears Central have not gotten to see my alter ego, Petty Roosevelt, often here. That is usually a thing over on Chicago Bulls Central where I go in on people. That's what I do. I'm going to try to make this a little bit more sensible because I love football. I try to make football a little bit more level-headed because of the game and my respect for it, the fact that I'm a former running back, things like that. I really try to talk about the game respectfully. I don't want to come in with my grandiose attitude sometimes and just completely go in on people. But this motherfucking idiot here, right? And this is what you're going to get on Chicago Bears Central that you're not going to get in the other platforms. They'll probably say that Luis Riddick is an idiot, but they won't. Listen, this bald-headed dumbass bitch right here. Listen, the fact that you are get paid to do this, the same thing that we sit here and do on our platforms that we're building for free, and you can't even read or comprehend a fucking article to see that he was saying that he just wants, as a quarterback, to know the offense from top to bottom, and you took that to say that the Bears are going to be in trouble? And you use that to try to low-key rip on Justin? You are a fucking idiot. And listen, I get it. This is sports. Should I be cursing as much as I am? Probably not. Let me bring the cursing down a little bit. Let me just go ahead and talk about this. This dummy here, you sit there with your dumb look on your face, and all you got, he's the Nick Friedel of Chicago Bears coverage. Everything he says is wrong or laced with something else that he wants to project, put on, whatever else, and it's stupid. Yes, are the Bears going to win a lot in 2022? Probably not. Are they Super Bowl contenders? Absolutely not. But when you in 2018, on the same program, pick the Chicago Bears to win the Super Bowl, and then you come up and you base yes, we know the Bears offense lost some things. We don't have the biggest names on offense. The offense has a lot to prove, right? And this is coming a couple of days after the NFL Network predicts the Bears to go 10-7. But to slam a young quarterback in Justin Fields, to use just a snippet of what a larger statement in which he said, in which he talked about the fact that he just wants to learn it in and out. He wants to be ready. He wants to make sure that he feels comfortable in the offense and then say, hey, when it's time to play games, we're going to be ready to go. To try to use that to go in, you're a dummy, right? And this is why the mainstream media does not get my vote. This is why, and this isn't even to promote us, like other outlets that come from true fans that love the team, that have an insight on the team, not even necessarily fans of the team, but people who love having these conversations that can evaluate and add integrity into the way that they cover teams is important, because the narratives that get pushed on national media outlets is ridiculous and it's asinine. So Luis Riddick, you are the dumbass of the day. That's it, period. We're going to leave it at that. Let me know down below what you guys feel about that. But let's go ahead and get into some actual Bears coverage and news. Velus Jones apparently, with the last day of minicamp, has wowed, right? We already heard Darnell Mooney talk about his speed, Velus Jones' speed, and that may be something that is going to get him some receptions right and maybe give him some success. Still think, I wonder if we're going to see Velus Jones on the special teams and how often we're going to see that, because the guy is fast looking at his tape. But the fact that he is seemingly picking up the offense, that he has something that he knows, that he is proving here, and the fact that they also are taking him under his wing. You hear now about that he plans to continue summer workouts with Darnell Mooney and Justin Fields. Now it's going to be the three of them working. We already have talked about what that has meant for the chemistry, or what that will mean for the chemistry of Darnell Mooney and Justin Fields, and how that can help bring out the best of both of them. You add in a young rookie and Velus Jones. Well, I know he's an older rookie, but a rookie coming in Velus Jones, also being able to come in that and learn and practice with them, get extra reps with them, build that chemistry for them. That could skyrocket his development as well. Over the 6 weeks from OTAs to this, the fact that he is learning the offense very well, he's moving around a lot, they're going to him some, he's building a connection with Justin Fields. These are the things that you want to see from a young player coming in that, yes, we all hoped, I would think, that the Bears were going to go higher in who they picked in the draft. They ended up going with the secondary, and that's fine. But Velus Jones comes in with the right attitude. Now, the attitude doesn't always mean that it's going to translate onto the field. But the things that we're seeing, the fact that Darnell Mooney has talked about him, and the fact that just we've heard nothing but good things from Velus Jones. Yes, we do need to see it, and that's a big part of it. We absolutely need to see it on the field. You can say good things all day. There are players that have great work ethic but didn't have the skill, and it just didn't work for them. But Velus Jones is coming in with the right mindset, and doing the right things, that hopefully we see the fruits of that as we get into the season. And as his role hopefully continues to increase, he's trusted a little bit more. Maybe they go to him a little bit more. We don't really know how this wide receiver core is shaking out exactly. We know what we expect to see from it, and how we expect it to go. They may still bring in a veteran. We don't know. We'll see. But Velus Jones, they had to see something in him for the time that the biggest question mark that Bears fans had was the O-line and the wide receiver, and they decided to go with their top picks in the secondary because they knew that they can get Velus Jones. There's something about that. When you hear Ryan Poles talk about him, I truly believe he saw something in Velus Jones that he thought it was worth it and that he needed to bring on this team moving forward. So Velus Jones coming in the minicamp, going into OTAs, and coming out of it with a relationship being built with Darnell Mooney and Justin Fields, and positive talks about him from players and coaches, is a good sign. And then, we'll see how it ends up shaking out. We'll see what it ends up actually translating to on the field. But for me, at least, this is what I want to hear from him so far. Let me know down below. What do you guys think about Velus Jones in the comments that have come out so far? How do you think that this ends up shaking out and coming to when it comes time to actually be on the field? And how excited are you guys about Velus Jones? I know we talked a lot about the young players in the secondary. Even on the last episode, I talked about all the rookies that are in the offensive line so far. But Velus Jones definitely is a piece as well that can do some serious things to help the Chicago Bears going forward. And if he does end up hitting, if the Bears hit on this Velus Jones picks and he ends up being a factor for the Chicago Bears, you got to look at him as being close to a steal, right? So we'll see. We'll see what's going on with that. Let's go ahead and get into our next topic. This one is Brisker, how he keeps impressing during offseason so far. With the 6 weeks that we've had in OTAs, minicamps, everything so far, we got this quote from Matt Eberflus. I'm going to read this and then we'll talk about it. He's been this is about Brisker. He's been really good. He's been really good, really good. In fact, I was just talking to the defensive coordinator, Adam Williams, about him on the field, and we're just so thrilled with his talent, his mental makeup and just the person he is and where he is in the development so far up until this point. He's picking up the defense. He's communicating with others. He's right on pace, so we're excited about him. He's been running with and this isn't the quote, so that's end quote. He's been running with the first team all offseason so far and everything that he's done so far, and he is projecting to be a starter right away. And we've already talked about it. Like, we talked a lot about Gordon. I like Gordon a lot, but this Brisker as well, the fact that he's getting comfortable with the playbook, the fact that he's picking up the defense, the fact that, Matt Eberflus, being a defensive-minded coach, thinks this highly of him. Again, I really do think, and I'm not willing to say that, like, we'll put a win number on it yet with the Bears, but I do think that when we look back at this rookie class, when this season's all said and done, we're going to look at it and say that Ryan Poles did a heck of a job with with the draft this year. And that's something that's going to be great going forward. If Ryan Poles can be great at drafting, if he can be great at evaluating talent and how to bring in that talent into the Chicago Bears, then that automatically, because one thing that's different from sport to sport is that in football, it's easier to go from being to build a contender. It's also quicker fall off. Like, there are people who are Super Bowl champions or whatever else, and the team completely falls off a year or two afterwards, and they're barely a playoff team. But I do think with football, it is easier and quicker. But the football is built to be able to turn around teams quicker than in other sports. So looking at that, I do think, like, again, am I willing, and I'm going to put, like, say the Bears are going to be a sure-off playoff team? No, I'm not willing to say that. This is being realistic. But just what we're hearing from these rookies, and, Brisker keeping that going as well, and Kyler Gordon for that matter. Kyler Gordon, who at minicamp, I don't think he actually practiced. Somebody did leave a comment that it's his contract situation, which I haven't read anything about, but if it is his contract situation that kept him being in live practice, so be it. I believe they'll work that out just with how highly they talked about him. But I really do trust that what we got in this draft and how it's going to project going forward. So how we're going to end this, right, is which rookies are going to have the biggest impact for the Chicago Bears in the 2022 season. 22-23 season. I said that weird. Who's going to have the biggest impact? And I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear your list down below. I'm going to give my list, and you guys can give me your list down below. First up, you guys know I'm super high on Kyler Gordon. I think Kyler Gordon is going to have the biggest impact being at that cornerback position of any rookie on the Chicago Bears this season. I think when you hear about him talking about attacking, going after the ball, things like that, forcing turnovers, at that cornerback position, that is the mindset that you want to have. I think he has the personality to be a big cornerback in this league, and I really do think he is going to have the biggest impact as a rookie on the Chicago Bears this season. Next up, again, it's going to be Brisker. Yeah, you have to. Like, what this Bears secondary could be is in a lot of ways going to be hinged on how these rookies develop over the course of the season. So let me not say 1 and 2. They're really 1A and 1B. And I really do I just have a good feeling about these guys. Now, I'm not a talent evaluator by any stretch of the imagination, so it kind of is what it is there. And then lastly, are any of those offensive linemen going to be able to step up, right? As a whole, I'm not even mentioning any certain one because we don't exactly know. But the offensive linemen, as far as having an impact as a rookie, we're hearing 3 rookies starting with the first team. Like, if that happens, if they can protect Justin Fields, if they can do what they need to do in the run game and the passing game, you got to look at that as being a huge plus for the Chicago Bears overall, considering the fact that the O-line is probably the biggest question on this team. And I think the O-line is even a bigger question than the wide receiver core, strictly because at least on the wide receiver core, you have Darnell Mooney, who's looking to prove that he's a number one. But even if you end up having to bring in another wide receiver as good or better than him to really truly be a contender, remains to be seen. But even with that, the wide receiver core at least has that surefire thing. This Bears offensive line doesn't have that. So I'm not giving it to any one of the 3 rookies who've been practicing with the first team, but as a whole, because really when you look at the offensive line, what they do in tandem, what they do together, and how they come together is almost the more important thing than what anyone can do individually. And if all 3 of them, even 2 of them, even 1 of them end up being a starter on this team and contributes and gives us a better prospect than what we thought we had on the offensive line, it can completely change the trajectory of this team. because otherwise they're probably going to have to spend big money for linemen to really improve this offensive line next offseason. If they have solid offensive linemen that they look and trust their development and trust what they can do, it really frees up so many other things that Ryan Poles can do in the next offseason. Is he still going to have to add to the offensive line? Absolutely. More than likely, right? But if he can eliminate some of the questions on that offensive line with some of the players that have already been here, with the combination of the rookies, it really does change so much for what we need to do next offseason, or even looking at doing as we continue this offseason with $24 million in cap. So big questions there. But let me know what you guys think down below. Any other rookies that you guys think are going to make the biggest impact on the team as we look forward to doing more content next week. We'll get into more things with the team overall as we head towards preseason. Can't wait for actual football games to talk about, guys. I can't wait for it. But let me know how you think about all the topics down below. You can let me even know what you think about the idiot Luis Riddick. Let me know all that down below. Thank you for tuning in to Chicago Bears Central. I appreciate you guys so much. For as we've moved towards daily content, you guys have showed up and showed that you appreciate it, and we're going in the right direction. I know we still have things that we do need to tighten up around here and that we do need to improve to give you guys the best content possible. But as we continue to do it, please, continue to sound off in the comment section. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know what we can improve on. I do apologize for this. Wasn't my smoke detector, but I do apologize for Bobby's smoke detector because I know how distracting that can be trying to listen to episodes. So I do apologize for that. We're going to eliminate a lot of that as well. But make sure that you're also checking in with us. And to do so, you can follow us on social media at Shy Bear Central on every social media platform. You can also send us in any feedback, questions, comments, concerns as you want to hear us talk about on the podcast, or just ideas. If you want to uplift, you want to send us in content topics, ChicagoBearCentral@gmail.com. And then lastly, you can also sound off text and our voicemail, 773-270-2799. Now, we do share that voicemail with Chicago Bulls Central, but as we start getting more voicemails in, I'll maybe look to give us a specific voicemail just for this show. But let me know what you guys think down below. And please don't hesitate to text or call in on the show. But that is it for this. That's it for this week as a whole. I'll see you guys Monday. That's been it for another episode of Chicago Bears Central. Make sure you guys bear down. I love you guys. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.